The tech bros. Don't you just love them? Yeah, no, we don't. For a while there, they were, for the most part, a bunch of relatively harmless nerds. But then, sitting on top of data empires, they smelled which way the wind was blowing and got on board of Team Chump. And they got on board for the same reason that all uber wealthy people get on board with Republicans. They want their taxes lowered, they want less government regulation of their businesses, and they want to hold sway with how the government operates. So they got their wish. They are on Team Trump. And how's it going for them? Not very well, as I'll get into in a moment. But the irony here is that when they are not doing well, it is a far, far cry from when you and I are not doing well. Friend to all billionaires Robert Reich was kind enough to post this, the combined wealth of the 5 richest billionaires. In 2020, that was $405 billion. Today, it's $869 billion. And as Reich points out, they got $14 million richer every single hour. Meanwhile, 60% of the global population has become poorer since 2020. Let's break that down, shall we? Elon Musk's wealth in 2012 was $2 billion. By 2025, it was $449 billion. Jeff Bezos' wealth in 2012 was $18 billion. By 2025, it had increased to $245. Meanwhile, the federal minimum wage in 2009 was $7.25 an hour. And in 2025, it's still $7.25 an hour. And so do we think that wealth is flowing to the top? And yes, you have to ask yourself, why does anyone have to be that rich? Do you know how exceedingly comfortable we all would be if we had only $1 million in the bank? And what have they done for society? Well, Mark Zuckerberg and his wife have promised to spend $3 billion over the next 10 years in education and other philanthropic initiatives. Yeah, that sounds like a lot, but break it down. And in the next 10 years, this cheapskate is only going to spend 1.38% of his income across 10 years. But at least Zuckerberg and his wife do give back. Not so with Elon Musk. Not one hospital, not one cancer clinic, not one school, nothing. In fact, it's worse than nothing. In 2021, the UN's World Food Program chief, David Beasley, tried to illustrate the absurd levels of wealth maldistribution by saying that 2% of Elon Musk's wealth could end world hunger. Musk, always trying to look like a badass, tweeted that he would donate the money if the UN could show how it would be spent. So, sure enough, the UN did. They spent an enormous amount of time and money to come up with a plan that would please the ketamine-loving Musk. They showed how they could feed 42 million people in 43 countries for 1 year. And what was Musk's response? Duck and cover. He didn't do a thing. This guy can't donate 1.3% of his money to end world hunger. So these are the guys that joined Team Trump because they wanted to get richer. And they had a great time joining the team. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He obviously had a good time at the inauguration. But how are they doing now? Well, based on a report by Bloomberg, The Independent announced today that 5 of the world's richest people who attended Trump's inauguration have lost $209 billion since that day. Makes you kind of sad, doesn't it? They went on to say that Musk's net worth suffered the most, dropping by $148 billion since January 20th. Amazon CEO Bezos came in second place, losing $29 billion, while Google co-founder Brin lost $22 billion. Meta CEO Zuckerberg and LVMH CEO Arnault both said goodbye to $5 billion. And why is this happening? Well, The Independent states that Musk's net worth spike mostly came from Tesla's significant gains, which have since been lost. Bezos' drop can similarly be attributed to a 14% fall in Amazon shares since January. Okay, those are the numbers, but why are they losing so much wealth? I'll tell you why. Because the resistance is working. Grassroots movements to hold protests at Tesla dealerships are working. People have not only been dropping their subscriptions to Amazon Prime, they've stopped shopping on Amazon altogether. And do you know what a good alternative to shopping online with Amazon is? That would be the company that still supports its DEI initiatives and just raised the base wages of its workers to over $25 an hour. Costco. So all of us need to stop using Amazon and Google and Meta. But right now, the Tesla protests are doing the most damage. You can tell because Trump just personally tried to boost their sales, as did Sean Hannity. And do you know why they are rushing to boost sales? Because Elon bought Twitter, using the stock value of Tesla as collateral. But here's the thing. If that stock goes lower than loan value, the banks will rush in and take Twitter. We need to keep up the pressure on Tesla. As I've said before, if you know someone that actually owns a Tesla, have them list it for sale on cars.com. They don't have to really try and sell it. They just have to list it in order to help tank the value of Tesla cars, which will bring down the value of Tesla stock. Think about it. Elon's empire is about to collapse. We just need to keep up the pressure. But a caveat to that. Trump has promised to treat anyone engaged in violence or destruction of Tesla properties to be treated as a domestic terrorist. We have to use discipline to keep these protests non-violent. It's enough that we're just showing up in big crowds. It's enough to tank his stock. Just imagine Elon disappearing from our lives. Now that's something to work for. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.